You're welcome back, and this is the Crossfire. I am Ishama, and of course, we're having an amazing time on Crossfire today. I still have Barrister ADETUNJI in the studio with us, and we just had a new guest joining on us. He is Professor Chris NWOKOBIA. He's the Director General of the Change Ambassadors of Nigeria, and he's also a senior advocate in the fight and struggle for a new Nigeria. You're welcome to Crossfire.
My pleasure to be here.
Welcome, and I'm pretty sure you were able to get the feel of some of the issues we've been talking about, particularly the issue of corruption, the fight against corruption, and the issue of the fuel increment, subsidy removal. What does that leave Nigeria in? We're looking at the minimum wage still 18,000 for the average civil servant. A lot of people earn between 18,000 and lower than that. And we're looking at so many issues here and there, and still, without finding succor, without increasing salaries, without putting economic policies to help better the lives of Nigeria, we're having a shocker removal of subsidy, which has automatically increased the price to 145 naira per litre. What do you make of this? I know you speak in favor of the government, if I'm correct,
you can't
in favor of the government.
No, you're trying to ambush me.
No. We needed to throw more light on these issues.
You're trying to ambush me. I am a Nigerian, and for me, it's always country first.
Okay, so you're speaking in favor of Nigerians now.
The country, you know. Interestingly, I'd say that on the fight against corruption, even the blind man sees, the deaf man hears that there's a new paradigm. We can't take that away from government. You talked about the Dasuki Gate, you talked about the pension gate, the several gates have been opened, and so many more have been opened. You have what you can call the INEC gate now, about 23 billion that was shared, and ear-tingling, mind-blowing, mind-boggling figures. You hear that a certain man collected 800 million, another one 700 million. Between the past 2 days and now, I have heard about 800 million, 840 million to Femi Fani-Kayode. I've heard about 700 million to someone else. I've heard about another 700 million. It's lucky, one of the aspirants for the PDP in Edo State, I think it's Maswell and so, about 700 million. Figures, mind-blowing figures. And you ask yourself, why and how did we get this bad? So, perhaps reading those figures got David Cameron to say what he said about Nigeria. Perhaps. Because amazing, mind-blowing figures. Governance moved away from service delivery to sharing of our collective wealth. It's a tragedy. And now you have a government that's dealing with it. I think it's applaudable. I think we must appreciate that fact. I want to say, is Nigeria fantastically corrupt? Yes. Is Nigeria doing something about it? Yes. Was David Cameron the right person to say that? No. And is the United Kingdom better? I say no. You know why? Because 45% of our stolen wealth gets domiciled in the United Kingdom. Our national assets, our wealth is in the United Kingdom. And so if you want to criticize, if you want to lampoon and repudiate corruption, bring back our monies. Bring back our assets.
So
and I think I commend Mr. President for what he did. I think that what we should begin to do now is hashtag UK bring back our wealth.
Okay, well, hashtag bring back our wealth. How will it translate to a better life for me? Knowing fully well that fuel will be going for 145 naira per litre.
I'll get to that.
Knowing fully well that minimum wage is still 18,000, not yet 56,000 naira or 90,000 naira.
I'll get to that.
As proposed by the NLC.
I'll get to that. But what hashtag bring back our wealth will do is impose a moral burden on the United Kingdom to fast-track the processes of returning the loots taken away by Bori, taken away by Lamasega, taken away by Daria and the likes. They'll bring back the wealth, our wealth. That will add to, because it's over $150 billion. What are we talking about? That will fund our budget if they bring it back. That's point number one. Point number two, on the fuel price regime, the removal of subsidy, my heart breaks.
Okay.
For two reasons. We have talked about the need for citizen engagement. it's a strong debate.
Doesn't the
should
town
we
hall
remove?
meeting,
Should we remove?
the town hall meeting meet up to citizens?
Oh, 2 days ago there was a town hall meeting in Kaduna State.
Yeah.
It wasn't mentioned.
Okay.
You know, so let's not try to paint the building. What we have is perhaps wrongly timed intervention.
Okay.
I say that advisedly. I'm a Nigerian. What affects my people directly affects me indirectly. It's a conundrum of sorts. And if we don't call a spade by its name, perhaps we're going to run into the same cul-de-sac that we had on the 12th January 2012, when the former regime increased as a New Year gift the price regime, and we had the Ojota rally. As you and I talk, the NLC president has responded. The secretary of the NLC has said that they resisted it, they did not accept, so the Nigerians should not have the impression that the NLC has been cowed into accepting it. And look at the issues. We're talking about electricity tariff increase.
Yes.
We're talking about no salary increase. Look at the odds. And then we're talking about a country that is trying to grapple with the realities of a downward plunge in our economy. And then you're adding the increase. I totally agree with the removal of subsidy, but I think it should be done in phases. That's point number one. And then point number two, I think that we should be doing more of citizen engagement than thinking that we can just throw certain things. I have written repeatedly directly to Mr. President on this. I've written to the Minister of Information on this. I've written to several people directly, and they cannot say they do not know. You have to engage the Nigerian people, because sooner than later what we're going to have is a massive protest against a regime that came to power on the altar of change.
Okay.
Get that right? Sooner than later, we're going to fritter if care is not taking our goodwill. And I think that the time has come for us to call a spade by its name. Government must engage the people effectively before outright removal of subsidy.
Okay, you mentioned something, amazing and phenomenal. But I also recall that Barrister ADETUNJI mentioned something, the issue of orientation in the fight against corruption. Now, Mr. President is here to name the Director General of the National Orientation Agency. And now you've mentioned something about citizen engagement. How does these two marry to help the fight against corruption and give Nigerians a better country? But then before you comment on that, let's take ADETUNJI's call, if I'm correct. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning and welcome to Crossfire. Oh, go for it. Okay.
I think I agree with that idea. You see, when Americans say that Nigeria is corrupt, okay, let me ask you. If I sit and I bring this issue across, and you collect it and keep it, then who are
Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set so we can hear you properly? Please. Thank you. Okay, you can go ahead and make your contributions. Oh no, sorry, we lost that. So can you respond to the issues?
No, I think that the appointment of the DG of NOA will come. I think that the other appointments will definitely come in a few days. But I think that what is important here is not necessarily tying it to it. It's about the moral commitment of the Nigerian leadership to the people. There is, because there is so much the NOA DG can do, but even more important is the commitment of leadership to feeling the pain and the pulse of the people. I know that, just imagine, Ishi, if you were going to have to do the job of the NOADG, and you have to contend with the crisis in the Northeast, contend with the resurgence of militancy in the Niger Delta, contend with the Fulani headsmen, and then you contend with a new development, the fuel price increase. That's a major responsibility. I know that the message of hope will resonate. I know that the message of change can sway and calm down a lot of nerves. But I know that even more important is the political trust and programmatic of government. If government puts the people absolutely first, certain things you have to engage the people before you make pronouncements. I think that we have had two major town hall meetings, the one in Lagos and the one in Kaduna. None of them put before the people the possibility of an outright removal of fuel subsidy. None of them put before the people the possibility of buying fuel at 145. True that for the past 4 months, the Nigerian people have bought fuel for between 150 naira per liter and 250 naira per liter. But let me tell you the truth. Because there was no price bracket put on it, prices of goods and services in the market could not have logically skyrocketed. But now that there is a policy programmatic that says it's 145 naira the maximum, the man in the market will tell you they've increased the price of petrol.
So he has to increase.
So he will add to the price of goods and services. The worker, who is not a businessman, who has a fixed salary, issue. Some of them are on a fixed salary of 18,000 naira a month. Some of them have not been paid that 18,000 naira a month for 4 months. Some for 5 months, and you're asking them to buy fuel for I pass my neighbor generator at how much? It's a cul-de-sac of sorts. It's a moral question, and I think that governance should understand now that we are before a people who know that when we campaigned, we told them that is a message of change that we have brought, a change for the better. And they can understand some pain, but when the pain becomes so much, it becomes a big problem.
Okay, can you please hold on? Let's take Tijani's comment, please. Hello, Tijani, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Crossfire.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead and make your contributions, please.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying today's Crossfire, like seriously.
Thank you.
I joined in late, but I met the man at the middle talking, so I can't recall his name now. I really enjoyed his comment towards the change and everything our government is doing.
Thank you.
Because for the United Kingdom saying that Nigeria is corrupt, I think they are more corrupt than us, because if Makula just said, now if I took money from somewhere and bring it to you, and you accepted it, which is not yours, I keep it from me as a thief, then we are both criminals.
That's true.
So I strongly believe that they too are not better than us.
Of course.
And personally, I'm going to follow what he just said now about hashtag bring back our wealth. Because if our wealth is being returned, I think this country will be a rich one, considering the billions of dollars that is in their country. So regarding the fuel subsidy, we all know the fact that subsidy removal is the way forward for us. But the time is wrong, like you just said, because a lot of things are wrong here which the government are trying to fight.
Oh no, we're sorry we lost that call. Okay, you were trying to make a comment.
I was going to say, you said, well, you're Nigerian first and foremost, we feel the pain. And the Minister of State for Petroleum was talking this morning, and he was saying, well, we feel the pain of Nigerians. And my question is this: how does he feel the pain? How does anybody in government that have come to impose this new regime on us feel the pain? Do they queue in the filling station to buy this fuel? No. Do they go to the market to buy these things? No. So how can they feel the pain?
They probably feel the pain because of the criticisms. I mean, it's a slap on the government.
The reality on ground is appalling. Just last week in Lekki here, a man climbed the pole, wanted to kill himself, wanted to commit suicide because he said he was being owed about 5 years' salary at his place of work. Was talking to about 3 people about this week that told me that in their place of work, salary have been slashed. And it's the economic reality. Before the increment to 145 naira. Now, believe me, everything is going to blow up. Has the government thought about how to address it, how to contain it, how to undo it? That was why I said that in as much as we all believe that it's something that was going to come, the timing and the manner is absolutely not right. A lot needs to be done about that.
A lot needs to be done, yes. Okay, now let's move a little bit into the issue of investment. Now, I know Mr. President has been making a lot of foreign trips, which some people have been criticizing and lambasting, if I can borrow your word, on its huge, financial implications on the country in terms of our revenues and ESA codes and all of that. But then the issue still remains. There's been this argument that Mr. President should rather sit at home and face the issues on ground in Nigeria. Sit at home in terms of focusing on creating the enabling environment for investors in Nigeria, local investors, to be able to invest, and this will automatically draw people into the country, foreign investors. I need a quick thought on this because we need to go on a quick break.
Quick one. Sit at home to do what? You have National Executive Council, you have ministers who have responsibilities to undertake. You want foreign investments, build confidence in the country, and his overseas trips are doing that. I think that what is important here is beyond the sentiment.
Confidence in the country.
Yeah.
They listen to
the world has to have confidence in you.
They listen to other media agencies. We still talk about electricity crisis. We still talk about poor roads.
Let me say this. A minister wouldn't have done the a better job than Mr. President did when he went to China. Whether you like it or not, this trip to the United Kingdom has raised fundamental issues that are of primary importance to us. Cameroun made a mistake. It took the words of our president to change the whole dialectics. Everybody came out against Cameroun. And now, the issue now is no longer whether Nigeria is corrupt. The issue is about getting back our wealth. That's because your president was there. I think fundamentally, beyond sensationalizing issues and subjects, what we must identify is the fact that what is good, no matter how you try to sensationalize it.
Yeah.
Traveling after what we had in 16 years and trying to reposition this country and tell the world that there's a new paradigm and a new disposition is profound. But I think that what we must begin to do is to engage. I said this advisedly. Begin to engage Nigerian people. Nigerians want to understand where this change vehicle is headed.
It's going.
That is why you hear some people say, oh, there's no policy trust, there's no that. There is a fundamental policy trust. As you and I talk, diversification of the economy to agriculture and the likes have begun, and effectively, as you and I talk, the customs service is ensuring that the Nigerian businessmen do more of exportation than about importation. They are fundamental policy trust. Engage the people and make them understand that.
We'll take the legal position, the legal angle to all of this when we return from this quick commercial break. Stick around, it's the Crossfire. You're welcome to the last lap of Crossfire's episode today. And I still have my honorable guests in the studio. And of course, they've been throwing so much light to the discussions today. Now, Barrister Tunji, we talked about the issue of the legal framework in addressing the economic issues in terms of foreign investments, local investments, creating the enabling environment for Nigerians. Do you think we can use the legal apparatus to speed up things, or probably wait for another 4 years to get things done as Nigerians desire things to happen? What's the position on legal apparatus helping?
Yes, I believe the legal apparatus we have on ground are adequate enough to address these things. And I'll focus on just one.
Okay.
The budget. You understand? Now, the budget has been passed. It's now left for the budget to be implemented. Now, obviously, the increase in petrol price and all that is going to cause an upsurge. But if you can use the apparatus of the budget implementation to balance it up in some other sector, for instance, the power sector, road, you understand? The moment we're able to address this, it will create a level or some form of balance.
I also recall the memorandum of understanding which was signed between the government of China and the government of Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, the issue Nigerians are asking is when will the implementation begin? How long will it take for the implementation? That is another period which is key.
Yes. No. And yes. Okay, no, after you.
Okay. Interestingly, let me say this. Now that the budget has been signed, the Minister of Works and Housing and Power said they will go to site effectively in a few days. Then the Minister of Transport has said that the construction of the rail from Lagos to Calabar and then Lagos to Kano or so is going to be an immediate project, that Mr. President is interested in delivering that job quick as possible. And he did say that about 250,000 jobs will be created. But let me say this. What is important is if we're sure we're going to have 250,000 jobs created from just that sector, and then if we're sure we're going to implement the budget and create jobs, we should have just simply waited for that to begin before we remove subsidy totally and increase fuel price. That's point number one. Then on the legal regime, the easiest way to get the law to snowball business activities is to remodel our CAMA, our Company and Allied Matters Act. You know what? You don't need 28 days, 34 days. You don't need so much of time to incorporate a company on part B or part A or part C. You need 24 hours. There's several people who have ideas, who want to bring in money, who want to bring in business. You don't need, go around the world. It doesn't take you more than 3 days to get a company incorporated. You don't need these protocols. Quicken processes so that this country can get out of this jangling discord of poverty to the amazing place of promise.
Issue also which is critical because I know we have 3 lawyers here on Saturday. In terms of following through on memorandum, you also need a specific time frame also for both parties to be able to carry out their duties and obligations and follow through on this. Now, that is another area a lot of Nigerians are not quite sure because a lot of Nigerians are not quite sure about the 100% terms and conditions in the memorandum of understanding. And of course, these are issues we need to know about. Now, of course, today we have we hope to have the Minister for State and the Minister for Budgets and Planning give us the details of the budget. But then in all of this, how soon should we expect things to take a new shape? How soon? Well, gentlemen.
Well, I believe, like Prof said, the Minister of Transport and that of Power said their own project as per the budget implementation.
But will all of this be completed within the next 3 years? Knowing fully well that we've spent 1 year already, this government has spent 1 year already in office. Will all of this be completed within 3 years?
Well, for me, I cannot say. I'm not Mr. President and I'm not the one that will implement those things. But what I can say, the most important thing in life is movement, not stagnancy. If we're moving forward, and we can see it, and we can see progress. Whether we finish in 3 years or not will become irrelevant because we can see where we're moving to.
Progress rate.
Exactly, and I think that's what matters most.
Okay,
let's
wait also.
Will all of this translate into a better life for the Nigerian people? The appropriation bill, which is now a law, the budget, speculates period and programmatic. If these projects begin now, it will transform the society for good. You know why? On the rail tracks, you will develop not less than 50 linear towns. Jobs will be created, communities will sprout up. You know, and at the end of the day, it will cause a reduction in poverty. And I think that that is what is important. I believe that together with government, Nigeria can become a better place. But essentially, government must do a lot more in terms of citizen engagement.
Well, in terms of citizen engagement, well, we also hope the government can follow through on their promises and not just a campaign agenda, but also the agenda for remodeling Nigeria to making Nigeria a befitting country in the 21st century. We also hope the government can also come out to let Nigerians know about the pains of progress, because of course we know in being able to construct these railways and expand this project, we know a lot of losses will be incurred on terms of the populace. But then we also hope the government can follow through on its promises. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me in the studio today. Thank you so much, Nigerians. Do have a beautiful day, and of course, say no to violence.